Grace Taylor drags her boots across the front porch and fumbles with the key. The October wind slips through her thin jacket like cold water. "Come on," she whispers to the lock. Finally clicks. Inside, the air smells like rose spray, her mother's favorite, and somehow the small house feels even smaller. "That you, Grace?" her mother, Mary, calls over the noise of a medical drama. "Yeah, it's me," Grace answers, setting her purse on the entry table. A stack of mail waits there. A red stamp on the mortgage bill says final notice. Her stomach drops. $150 due by Friday, she reads under her breath. She closes her eyes and counts backward from 10 the way her father Joe taught her when she was a girl afraid of thunder. In the kitchen, the refrigerator light washes over empty shelves. Only her labeled meal prep boxes Monday to Friday sit in neat rows. "Did you pick up my prescriptions?" Mary calls. "Yes. They're in my bag," Grace says, pressing her forehead to the cool fridge door. "My back is killing me today. Bring them and make tea." Mary adds, the TV volume lowering a notch. "Okay, Mom," Grace answers, already filling the kettle, already moving like someone who knows the list by heart. "Where are you watching from today? Kindly hit like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more." While the kettle warms, Grace takes the paycheck she cashed at lunch and lays bills beside the mortgage. $150 plus $50 for the late fee, she murmurs, lining the edges square. Dad's voice rises in her memory. "Just till she gets back on her feet, Lily." He had used her childhood nickname on the day of his burial, umbrellas knocking in the rain. 5 years later, just till she gets back on her feet has turned into a job, a duty, a trap. Grace glances toward the small room that should have been her office. A manila folder peeks from a drawer. Denver promotion paperwork, edges yellowed now. Regional manager, it had promised. A raise. A life of her own. The kettle whistles. "Tea." Mary calls again. "Coming." Grace carries the mug to the living room. Mary lounges in Joe's old leather chair, blue TV light painting her face. "You took forever," Mary says, accepting the cup without looking. "They asked me to cover for Stephanie again," Grace answers, sitting carefully on the sofa edge. "Extra hours means extra money." Mary sips, grimaces. "Not enough sugar." Her eyes drift to a wedding photo of Grace's younger sister, Lily, smiling beside her husband Jake. "If only you had Lily's sunny spirit," Mary says. "She never gets stuck on little things." "The little things like the mortgage?" Grace says softly. Mary's reply lands like a stone. "Your father would be so proud of how you take care of me." Grace stands. "I'm going to shower." Steam fogs the bathroom mirror as Grace studies the tired woman staring back, dark circles, hair in a plain ponytail. "Just a few more months," she whispers. Her phone vibrates in her jeans pocket on the floor. The name Lily flashes. Grace thinks about ignoring it, then hears Dad in her head. "Family is family." She answers. "Grace. Guess what?" Lily's voice sparkles. "We're coming home." Grace tightens her grip on the phone. "Home? What do you mean?" "Jake's job got cut. The magazine downsized." Lily rushes. "It's temporary, of course. Just till we're back on our feet." The phrase lands like a match in dry grass. "Have you told Mom?" Grace asks. "Yes." She's thrilled. Knuckles wrap the bathroom door. "Is that Lily?" "Let me talk to her," Mary calls, already turning the knob. Grace opens. Mary beams brighter than she has in months and takes the phone. "Sweetheart. I'm already planning," Mary gushes. Yes, of course." Grace is thrilled too. When Grace gets the phone back, she walks to her bedroom and closes the door. "So, when?" she asks. "This weekend." Lily sings. "Perfect timing. Jake has leads already." Grace stares at the small space that is finally hers. The calm bedspread, the tidy desk. "You can use the guest room," she offers. Lily laughs lightly. "Oh, Mom said we could have your room. It's bigger. You don't mind, right? You're hardly ever home with all those hours." The room tilts. Silence stretches. "Grace? Don't be selfish," Lily adds like it's the most natural sentence in the world. "I'll clear out my things," Grace hears herself say. Saturday comes with 3 fast chimes of the doorbell, Lily's impatient rhythm. Grace steps from the cramped guest room, now packed with boxes labeled books, desk, clothes. The door swings open. Lily launches forward in a cloud of perfume. "Gracie," she squeals, hugging hard. Behind her, Jake wrestles 3 matching leather suitcases across the threshold. For a man between jobs, he travels heavy. Mom's making your favorites, Grace says, stepping aside. I told her not to fuss, but you know how she is with her baby, Lily grins. Her baby. Not babies. Mary appears, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She rushes past Grace to wrap Lily in another hug. There's my girl. Jake, put your things in Grace's room, Mary orders cheerfully. Jake arches a brow. Already? I moved Grace yesterday, Mary announces, pleased. I wanted everything perfect for you too. Grace goes to the kitchen. Pot roast simmers. She lifts the lid and inhales a smell that used to mean comfort. Now it smells like a scoreboard. Car keys are on the hook, Mary calls. Grace can take the bus on Monday. Jake needs the car for interviews. Grace freezes. She sets the lid down carefully. I have meetings across town Monday, she says, voice steady. Mary sighs the familiar sigh. Your sister needs us right now. Can't you think of someone besides yourself? Grace looks from the shining suitcases to the pot roast to the hook by the door where her keys hang. I think about everyone, she answers. All the time. Mary slides a paper across the counter. Also, I told the landlord you'll cover their lease just until they're settled. Grace stares. You told what? Laughter floats from the hallway. Lily whispers to Jake, not quite quiet enough. Don't worry. Grace always handles everything. The wooden spoon in Grace's hand snaps in two. She doesn't notice until the broken handle clatters to the floor. That night, sleep dodges her. On the guest room desk, her old laptop glows. An unread email thread catches her eye, 3 weeks old, between Mary and Lily. Mary had written, "Don't worry about Grace. She'll understand. He always does." The move wasn't sudden. It was planned. Grace scrolls, jaw tight. Her phone buzzes. A text from Ben, her coworker. Offer in Knoxville still open. Regional role. Company housing. She lays the phone face down, but the idea burns like a lamp under a door. Through the thin wall, Lily's voice carries from Grace's old room. We should update this space. Sell these old pieces and get something more our style. Her desk. Her bed. Her money. Grace opens a drawer and takes out a folded paper Denver, the promotion she once turned down. The edges are soft now, like a memory handled too many times. Just until they're on their feet, she whispers into the quiet room. Then she looks at the text on her phone again and hears a new sentence forming, slow and firm. Just until I stand on mine. Morning light leaks through the guest room blinds. Grace dresses quietly and slips out. At the bank, Mr. Howard, the manager with kind eyes, scrolls through her joint account history. Looks like you're the only one depositing, Ms. Taylor, he says. Has been for a long time. Grace nods. Please remove my name from any automatic payments that aren't tied to the mortgage. He clears his throat. You're carrying a lot. Outside, she calls Ben. Is the Knoxville role really still open? Ben doesn't hesitate. For you? Yes. Company housing for 90 days, start date next Wednesday. Say the word. Grace exhales. I'm in. She ends the call and texts her boss. Personal day Monday. Back home, Mary is at the table making a long grocery list. We'll need more food with 4 people, Mary says. And the power bill will jump. I've done the math. She slides the list and a calculator to Grace. Grace doesn't touch either. I've done my own math, she answers. Grace steps into her old bedroom while Lily and Jake argue cheerfully about curtain colors in the hallway. She kneels by the closet and lifts a loose floorboard. A small envelope waits beneath, thick with saved bills. Her just in case, the thing Dad told her to keep. Thank you, Dad, she whispers. On her phone, she schedules movers. Monday 9 a.m., the dispatcher says. We'll be there. Grace transfers the utilities to Mary's name and forwards her mail. She leaves exactly 1 mortgage payment in the joint account, no more. From the porch, she watches Lily test the porch swing and Jake snap photos of the house like a tourist. Mary calls from the kitchen. Grace, we're having a welcome home barbecue tonight. Invite your work friends. I can't, Grace answers. I've got things to finish. Lily peeks in. You're always so serious, she teases. Grace smiles without showing teeth. Not always. Just when it matters. That evening, while laughter rises from the backyard, Grace sits at the small guest room desk and writes a list titled, What I Will and Won't Accept. She reads it aloud, steady and slow. I will not be financially responsible for adults who can work. I will not give up my car for someone else's errands. I will not lose my room, my rest, or my peace. A knock. Mary enters without waiting. Can you spot us for a few things before Jake gets his first check? Meat isn't cheap. Grace folds the list. I left a mortgage payment. That's my limit. Mary's mouth tightens. Your sister is in crisis. So am I, Grace replies. You just can't see mine. From outside, Lily's voice floats in, joking about selling old furniture to fund fresh decor. Grace stares at her hands. They're steady. She didn't expect that. Sunday morning, Mrs. Bennet from next door knocks with a pie. I thought you might need this, she says, eyes kind and sharp at once. I saw them toss your herb pots. Grace's jaw clenches, then she laughs, surprised by the sound. Thank you. Mrs. Bennet lowers her voice. People can forget who watered what. You didn't. Grace nods, throat tight. In the kitchen, Lily points at the car keys. Jake needs these to check a job posting. Grace takes the keys first. I have an errand, she says. He can Uber. It's a business expense. Lily blinks. Well, okay. Mary folds her arms. You're being difficult. Grace slips the keys into her pocket. No, I'm being clear. At the hardware store, Grace buys 3 moving boxes, a roll of tape and a black marker. She labels quickly. Papers, books, clothes. Her phone buzzes. Ben, lease ready. I'll send the welcome packet. Another buzz, her boss. Approved. Personal day Monday. A third, Mr. Howard. As requested, utilities now in Mary Taylor's name. Grace stands still in the aisle for a moment, breathing. When she returns home, Jake is on the porch with a coffee. We're grateful, you know, he says. Lily depends on family. Grace meets his eyes. We all do. That means give and take. Not take and take. He looks away. Right. Inside, Mary eyes the boxes. What are those? Pie things, Grace answers. I'm organizing. Mary snorts. You and your systems. Grace tapes a box shut. My systems kept this house standing. Sunday night at dinner, Mary serves pot roast like a trophy. To Lily and Jake's new beginning, she says. Lily raises a glass. To family that shows up. Grace lifts her water and places it down again. To boundaries, she says quietly. Lily frowns. Don't start. Jake forces a laugh. Let's keep it light. Grace tries one more time. My room stays my room until I say otherwise. My car is mine. My money is mine. I'll help with 1 mortgage payment this month. That's all. Mary's fork clatters. After all we've done for you? What did you do for me? Grace asks. The question sits in the middle of the table like a candle no one wants to light. No one answers. The TV murmurs from the living room, blue light spilling down the hall. Monday, 8:59 a.m., a truck rumbles to the curb. Taylor. The mover calls. That's me, Grace says. Lily stares from the hallway. What's happening? I'm moving, Grace replies, calm as the tape gun in her hand. Mary's voice rises. Without talking to us? Grace gestures toward the stack of envelopes she's left on the kitchen table. Everything's written out. 1 mortgage payment. Instructions for the bills. A list of community jobs for mom. Phone numbers for resources. Jake opens his mouth, then closes it. Lily grips the doorframe. You can't just leave. Grace meets her eyes. I am. The movers carry boxes past the pot roast smell that still lingers. Mrs. Bennet watches from her garden and gives the smallest nod. Grace nods back. By noon, the guest room is empty. The last thing Grace does is take her journal from the nightstand, brown leather. A gift from Dad. For your big ideas, he told her. In the driveway, Lily follows, voice sharp. You're abandoning Mom. Grace turns. I stayed 5 years. Kept the lights on. I missed promotions. I missed sleep. Mary steps onto the porch, hand to her chest. High blood pressure. Call your doctor, Mom, Grace says gently. Use the insurance you kept. Use the job board I printed. Lily shakes her head. You're different. Grace closes the truck door. I'm myself. He hands the keys to Jake. Here's a spare no gas money from me. Jake looks embarrassed. Understood. Grace slides into the front seat of the moving truck. The driver tips his cap. Where to? Grace smiles a little. Knoxville. Highway miles unwind like ribbon. Grace counts backwards from 10 and realizes she isn't calming down, she's already calm. Ben meets her at the company apartment, a small, bright place with clean walls and a working stove. Welcome, he says, setting a modest plant on the counter. Office tomorrow at 9. No pressure tonight. Thank you, Grace says. Her phone buzzes with a pile of messages. From Mary, how could you? From Lily, Dad would be ashamed. From an unknown number, you're heartless. She lays the phone face down and opens the window. Evening air carries no rose spray, only the smell of rain and pavement. She unrolls a simple mattress pad the company stocked and lies down. The quiet is so complete she wants to cry. He doesn't. She sleeps. Morning comes soft and plain. Grace makes coffee the way she likes it and eats toast in silence. She writes 2 sentences on a sticky note and presses it to the fridge. My time belongs to me. My help has limits. At work, Ben greets her with a grin. We'll start with the shipping line. I'd love your systems. Grace walks the floor, eyes sharpening as she maps bottlenecks. We'll rotate stations every 2 hours, she says. Color code the pick carts. Clear the end caps. A supervisor whistles. She's good. At lunch, Ben taps a folder. By the way, HR comped your relocation fee. Grace blinks. Why? Because people who hold a whole warehouse together shouldn't have to hold a whole family alone, he says. That night she opens her journal and writes, Day 1. No keys on the hook for someone else, no room claimed, no pot roast scoreboard. I can breathe. Outside, Knoxville hums. Inside, Grace's shoulders drop their old armor. For the first time in years she feels the ground under her own feet. 2 weeks later, Grace's new apartment already feels like home. Her days follow a calm rhythm: coffee at 6, work by 8 and dinner when the sun melts into the Knoxville hills. At the office, Ben stops by her desk. You reorganized the shipping route again, he says. Processing time's down 14%. Grace smiles. Guess I'm good at fixing things. Just don't fix anyone else's life again, he teases. That evening she journals. No calls today. No guilt. No chaos. Before bed, her phone buzzes: 20 missed calls from Mary, 30 texts from Lily. She reads the first few words of one. How could you, after all we've done for you? Grace presses delete and whispers, not anymore. A week later, the building intercom buzzes. Miss Taylor, there are 2 women here insisting they're family, the concierge says. Grace's stomach twists. I'll come down. The elevator hums softly as she counts backward from 10. The doors open. Mary and Lily stand in the lobby, dramatic as ever. Mary's cardigan buttoned wrong, Lily's makeup perfect but her eyes red. There she is. Lily says loudly. The daughter who abandoned her family. People glance up from their phones. Good morning, Grace says evenly. This is unexpected. Mary's voice shakes. You left us with nothing. The electricity's cut off. Grace answers calmly. I paid the bills through the end of the month. You have Dad's pension. It's not enough, Mary says. We need you. A guard steps closer. Lily hisses, You're heartless. Grace lifts her chin. No. I'm free. At that moment, Ben appears with a coffee in hand. Everything okay, Grace? He asks. We have that supplier call. Lily glares. We're not done. Ben blocks her gently. That area's for employees only, ma'am. Grace nods her thanks. I have to go, she says. Take the bus back to Nashville and make a plan that doesn't include me. As she walks away, she hears Lily's stunned whisper. She really means it. In the conference room, Ben sets down the coffee. Family trouble? He asks softly. Family lessons, Grace replies. Later, she receives a voicemail from Mrs. Bennett. They're telling everyone you abandoned them, the older woman says. But don't worry, I told the neighbors the truth. Grace smiles through unexpected tears. For the first time, someone defends her without being asked. A month passes. Grace thrives at work. Her supervisor calls her into his office. You've been here 5 weeks and saved us $20,000 in shipping errors, he says. Take tomorrow off, you've earned it. Grace hesitates. I'm fine. Take it anyway, he insists. So she drives to Nashville, heart thudding. The yard of her old house looks neglected, the rose bushes drooping. She parks across the street. Dylan, Lily's husband, carries boxes to his car. Grace, he says, startled. I need to grab a few things. He scratches his head. Lily won't like that. I'm aware, she says and walks inside. The living room is almost empty, dusty outlines where her furniture used to be. You took everything. Mary cries, appearing from the kitchen. I took what I bought, Grace says. Dylan frowns. Wait, you paid for all that? The realization ripples across his face. Lily storms in, phone in hand. Where's the savings from Dad's life insurance? She demands. Mary falters. The kitchen needed updating. And your car? Pie car. Lily's voice climbs. You said we had savings. $36,000, Grace says quietly. It was gone in 8 months. Lily turns on her mother. You lied to me. Mary sobs into her hands. Felicia, help us, Grace, she corrects sharply. No, I already helped. Dylan mutters. You should have told us how bad things were. I did, Grace says. You just didn't listen. Lily's glare hardens. You're really going to do nothing? Doing nothing, Grace answers, is finally doing something for me. She walks toward the door. Call a financial advisor. Or a therapist. Or both. The screen door slams behind her, echoing like the closing of a long chapter. Outside, the October air tastes like freedom. As Grace starts her car, her phone buzzes. A bank alert. Clara Taylor attempted to access a closed joint account. Then a text from Lily. You can't just walk away. This isn't over. Grace turns off her phone and drives toward the highway. By the time she reaches Knoxville, the sky has turned gold. She unpacks quietly, humming to herself. On the counter sits a letter from the mortgage company, proof she's no longer responsible. She signs it, steady-handed. I'm not the safety net anymore, she writes in her journal. I'm the one standing. A few days later, Grace receives an email from HR. Subject: Suspicious online review. Someone had written, Grace Taylor abandons work like she abandons family. She forwards it to HR with a short note, family harassment. Please flag as defamation. That evening she freezes her credit. Not my first time cleaning up after them, she mutters. When her therapist, Dr. Winters, calls, Grace exhales deeply. They listed the house for sale, she says. Without paying off the mortgage. Dr. Winters replies, and how does that make you feel? Grace laughs dryly. Like they still think I'm a checkbook with legs. The session ends with a new assignment. Write what closure means to you. Grace writes 3 words. Peace without permission. A week later, her phone lights up with a news alert. Help the Taylor family keep their home, GoFundMe. The photo shows Lily smiling, Mary looking frail. The caption blames Grace. Rage flashes, then steadies into focus. She screenshots it and emails her lawyer. Defamation case. Start filing. Moments later, Mrs. Bennett calls. The truth's spreading, she says. People remember who really paid those bills. They're asking questions. Grace laughs softly. Finally. That night, co-workers surprise her with dinner. We heard about that drama, Ben says. You're not alone. Grace raises her glass. To freedom, and people who mean what they say. For once, laughter doesn't sting. It feels earned. Winter slides in quietly. One evening, a text from an unknown number appears. This is Liam, Lily's friend. She's mad, but your mom got a job at the pharmacy. Part-time. Thought you should know. Grace smiles faintly. Good, she whispers. Finally on their feet. At work, Ben's wife invites her for Thanksgiving. No arguments allowed, she jokes. Grace almost refuses out of habit, then nods. I'd love that. After dinner, she sits at her window looking down at the quiet street. No shouting. No slammed doors. Just peace. Her phone buzzes again. An email from Lily sent to Mary by mistake. You said Grace would always take care of us. Grace forwards it to her therapy folder and closes the laptop. The silence that follows feels like a song she's waited years to hear. Months later, Grace's phone rings. It's the hospital. Your mother's been admitted for observation, the nurse says. She asked for you. Grace hesitates, then drives down. The antiseptic smell hits before she enters the room. Mary looks smaller under the white sheets. You came, Mary whispers. The doctor says it's stress. Grace sets a vase of daisies on the table. I'm glad you're okay. The bathroom door opens. Lily steps out, eyes wary. We just want a fresh start, she says. Help us until we're back on our feet. Grace almost laughs. Those words again. She pulls a folder from her bag. Inside 5 years of bills, receipts and mortgage statements. This is everything I spent keeping you afloat, she says. $78,400. Mary's lips tremble. I didn't realize. How you do, Grace answers. And that's enough. Uncle Ray and Aunt Sarah enter the room with Pastor John for what Lily calls a family healing meeting. Grace stays seated. Perfect timing, she says. Let's start with honesty. Uncle Ray flips through the papers, eyes wide. You turned down a promotion to care for them? Yes, Grace replies. Denver, $20,000 more a year. Aunt Sarah shakes her head. Mary, you told everyone Grace left you with nothing. Pastor John clears his throat. This is not what we were told. Uncle Ray points at Mary. Joe Taylor would be ashamed not of Grace but of how you treated her. The room goes silent. Mary's tears finally spill. I didn't know how much I took from you. Grace gathers her folder. I don't need apologies, she says softly. I need respect. Grace stands at the door. I hope you feel better soon, Mom. Lily follows her. Can we at least talk about next month's mortgage? Grace faces her squarely. No, the word is small but solid, like a lock turning. She leaves the hospital and drives toward Knoxville. A year later, sunlight spills through the windows of her cozy bungalow. Then now her boyfriend sets coffee on the table. Big day, he says. Regional director. Grace smiles. And mortgage-free in 2 years. Her phone rings. Mary's name flashes. He pauses, then answers. Hi, Mom. Her voice is warm but steady. I'm glad you called. Outside, her garden blooms with dahlias and daisies, the kind that grow back no matter the season. Moral lesson. True love doesn't demand your sacrifice, it respects your boundaries. Family should lift you up, not drain you. Healing begins the moment you stop apologizing for choosing yourself. Thanks you for watching, and please remember to tell us where you are watching from today. Hit the like button, comment and subscribe to this channel for more of this.